Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check.
It definitely was. Thanks. Scott, coming. Hey, you too. Look forward to seeing you up there. Thank you. Do we need it for me? No, Fiverr's going upstairs. But they're on right now, so. Is a live stream up? Yeah. Our mom's watching.
Good evening, Las Vegas. You guys, this is going to be a fun atmosphere. I know we have a lot of first timers here, so if it's your first time, raise your hand. Yes. Clap for them. We want them to come back. So if you've never been to LevelUp before, the goal is we have three companies who are pitching their company. These guys are here to grow. And then there'll be some opportunity for questions, but we want this to be fun. So think about the last concert you went to, where you're cheering, having a good time. That's the atmosphere we want today. All right, let's try it out. Yay, LevelUp! All right, my name is Jennifer Bell. I'm the community manager with StartUp Vegas, and I'm super excited to host all of you today alongside of our co-founders, Peter Tomasic and Heather Brown. They're waving. We're going to bring them on a little bit. There's some cool things happening today. There's a milestone. But before we do that, we're going to go through some announcements. If you guys are familiar with Lucy Hut, which is another startup in Las Vegas, we work with them to capture event video and photos. So one of the things you'll love about Startup Vegas, we are so down with QR codes. So if you want to capture that QR code, and if you're taking videos and pictures and want to share them with us, you're welcome to do that. We also are live streaming this event, so there's a little computer there, so we mic the number of participants. So if there's some things that you heard tonight that were like, oh, that was awesome, or I'd love to revisit that, or if you have friends who are too lame to come out tonight, they can go to our YouTube channel at Startup Vegas to look at these programs and any of the other major programs that we do. The other thing we want to make sure you know about is we have a perks platform. So many of you are founders and business owners, and you need some resources, you want to get some real cool discounts. Make sure you go to startup.vegas/perks and see what you can grab. How many of you are on our Slack channel? Okay. We need you on our Slack channel, startupvegas.slack.com. This is the way you're going to be able to participate tonight. So when our founders pitch and have our panelists ask you questions, the audience will be able to ask questions as well, but you have to submit them through the live events channel on our Slack. It's also a great way for us to rope you into joining our community because there are so many great things happening in Vegas with the Vegas tech startup scene, and we want to make sure you're in the community so you can stay in touch and keep in touch and participate. We would not be here without our sponsors. We want to thank them very profusely. Lucy, 7VR, we've got John Evans over here from Project Clover, but we're not able to put on these events without their support. And let's give them a round of applause. We have a great panel. We have some newer panel members, but people who are well established in the industry. I'm going to start with John.
Hi, I'm John Evans. I'm the founder of Project Clover. I work with family offices. I've been a part of 10 different startups, exited 5 of them. That's me.
Hey guys, I'm Vlad. I've been in tech for the last 10 years. Basically, I'm helping developers build cool shit.
I'm David Steele. I co-founded a company with Peter called Influential that just sold in June. We sold a different company in January this year. I made investments for myself, 2 or 3 year projects I can all investors and get involved in. And I was on the panel 3 years ago when this thing started, so it's nice to be back.
My name is Brooks Holland. I'm a
currently run a tech consulting firm. It's a small group, but I've been involved in startups for over 20 years, mostly failed startups on my own, but I'd like to say that you haven't failed unless you quit, so I still have ideas. But I've done consulting for companies like DreamWorks Animation, Fox Sports, Zappos, Lilly Pulitzer, Deloitte, and many others. I also did, I started out with the Red Tech with the Air Force, right out of college, but it's great to be here. I'm excited. I love startups, so I can't wait to hear the pitches.
All right, one last thing, since I have a captive audience, we do have some other cool upcoming programs. One, we're doing some free sales development representative training, a really critical role in a lot of our businesses. So make sure you go to startup.bay/SDR. Okay, before we bring our first folks up on stage, Dan alluded to the fact that this is a kind of a landmark event. This marks year 3, or the third year. Say a few words to get us really excited about what we're about to see and talk about how this has evolved.
Thank you, Jennifer. I think you have the mic that works, but I can talk like this.
Yeah.
Like Jennifer and Dan said, and I have to tell you, we are so obsessed with this community. We didn't even realize it was 3 years until somebody was like, yeah, can you believe I've been here 3 years? I was like, that's crazy. So I'm sorry we didn't bring cake, but just know that this is special because each one of you keep showing up, keep asking questions, keep presenting, and I just wanted to say thank you, and we wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, if anyone was here 3 years ago, could you raise your hand? All right, thank you, all of you, for continuing to come out. But it's also an even cooler thing that most people aren't raising their hand, because it shows that this was something that was needed, and there's a new flood of people almost every see what these presenters have for us tonight.
So thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to do this again in 3 years. But I'll bring cake then, I promise.
All right, let's get the party started. And our first presenters are Chris and Sal Rosales. They are with Ballpoint, and they are a SaaS platform helping teachers grade writing assignments faster.
Do we need 2 mics?
Come to the stage. Yes.
Well, is that all right? Awesome. All right. Sal, we're co-founders at Ballpoint Labs. I am in the way of the presentation. We are on a mission to help K through 8 teachers initially across the world grade writing assignments faster.
So what's the problem? Teachers are spending too much time grading, from elementary school teachers who have 30 students and have 30 papers to grade on each assignment, to middle school teachers who have 120 students who have, for every assignment, 120 papers to grade, multiplied by 5 to 10 assignments per semester. That's a quite undertaking, and it's something that we're ready to solve. The other problem is students are using not the way that they're intended to do, especially when we're talking about teaching students foundational skills in writing. We need to teach them first before they're using the type of tech that they're using.
Just to illustrate the problem, here's a chart showing the prevalence of the term delve in research papers. For those of you who don't know, delve is a very common word generated by ChatGPT, so it's a feature of our academic integrity.
And so we're building a platform that is going to solve these issues and helps teachers be able to use the AI on their side to help students and help grade to help students. And then Ballpoint frees up, of course, the valuable time of teachers, and now they'll be able to plan for student success instead of using all that time to grade. and they will be able to intervene and help students with their achievement in writing. And also an issue that I've had conversations lately with teachers is the issue of being able to grade students' writing now that AI is so prevalent, and teachers are telling me that they don't know how to grade it because it doesn't sound like their students. And so they don't know what to do with that. So even if you're giving the student a B or a C or an A, who are they really giving that grade to?
And that being said, the way we solve that is by helping encourage more handwritten work. It's harder to Control-C, Control-V into a notebook paper. So ballpoint grades handwritten work as well as it does typed work.
So who are we? I'm, again, Sal, and I'm a founder. I have over 25 years of experience in education. I'm a retired district level administrator here in the Clark County School District. And I worked, now I'm working in ed tech. Recently moved from McGraw-Hill, which is one of the largest companies in education, and was in the ed tech side. And now I'm in I've been in also some startups in ed tech as well. And then here's Chris Rosales, who is the smartest person I've ever met. And he happens to be my son, but he's capable of anything that is set in front of him. So I wanted to partner with him.
Say that.
No, but it's true.
As for the ones who are there but not here, that's Louis, that's Armand. They're our technical co-founders. This wouldn't be a tech startup without them. They're genius web developers, experience in computer science as well, in sectors from financials to aerospace to nuclear energy and, yes, education. As for our go-to-market strategy, right now we're leveraging our extensive network in the education space. Sal mentioned his 25 years, quarter century in education.
I don't like that.
Quarter century in education. That means a lot of teachers that are willing to hear us out and to test our product, give us feedback. That's really what we need. We don't need revenue right now. We need feedback. So once we do have product market fit, we can truly scale. On top of that, of course, we have going to conferences and from there to then have a sales-led go-to-market strategy to find self-motivated K-12 teachers across the country who want to improve their writing. As for our market, we're pretty much, this is all penciled out, of course, but it's around 5.8 billion. That's for K-12 worldwide. As for a more addressable market, immediately addressable market, that'll be, or attainable market, that'll be K-12 schools if we were to, say, charge them about $1,000 a year. As for our competition, it's a very nascent market right now. So there's really not a lot of companies that are doing exactly what we're doing. And as far as the way they're going about it, we really don't think there's any of them that have really considered the problems.
And the thing is that we're bringing in the AI tool to the teacher. A lot of our competitors are student-facing, and which exacerbates that problem that I was just mentioning about what teachers are having. What I equate AI for students that are learning foundational skills is like sending somebody to the gym to lift weights and having a robot lift those weights. And then what happens when they're expected to actually lift the weights to show competency in what they're learning? They're not going to be able to do it. And that's what's happening in the classroom right now, and that's what we're trying to solve.
Right. We're the only option right now that's considering grading from images, grading handwriting, as well as a direct integration with Canvas LMS, which, if you don't know, is the source, is the LMS that the Clark County School District uses. So that being said, thanks for listening. We don't have an ask right now, but just encourage us in our movement to make grading easier for teachers worldwide. Thank you.
So without an ask, it's kind of hard to just, it's interesting. I'll give you some feedback.
Yeah, that's our ask. There you go.
I was in ed tech for a while, and I was a teacher before I went into tech. So I don't know if everybody knows that, but I was a teacher for a while. My wife was a teacher, also at CCSD for a few years. Then I told her to stop that because she was going crazy.
My wife is still in CCSD teaching
yeah,
so.
she knows the thing.
Yes.
Okay, so the ed tech sales take a long time. You're looking at like a 18 to 24 month sales cycle. So plan for that. Ed tech investors are still hot. They're still hot in the space. Your TAM is low. It's not accurate. You should double check that. Is that just for the state, or like not this state, but just for like this specific niche of what you're doing, or is this ed tech as a whole incorrect?
I think we might have looked at ELA specifically, but I mean,
it should be closer to like about 40 billion for
okay.
the TAM. Ed tech in general has crossed over 300 billion for just ed tech, and you're the corrective side of that. So I think if I remember correctly, it's like 40, 46, something like that.
Okay.
And I would definitely break out like some sort of unit economic, like go to market when you do that. But I like kind of the simple. Simple's good.
Yes.
Easy to understand. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm talking a lot.
No, you're saying good things.
Yeah, it's why I know the space very well. So
yeah.
It's super interesting. And then double check all the numbers. And when you do that, just cite the source where you got that number from.
So who do you imagine inside the organization is going to be the person that says, yes, we're buying this? Inside the school, is it?
So the decision maker.
Good question.
So the way it works is we want teachers to be able. So we're going to have a pseudo freemium model. The way we see it right now is where this is okay. It still works. Where the teachers get really excited about the product. Principals will be the ideal decision maker. We want to market directly to schools
and districts.
And districts, but ideally a school, because we believe we can price this product within the range where, at least within CCSD, it can be paid for without the need of district approval.
Okay, so you're priced low enough to where the school can make it.
Yes.
I like the idea of letting the teachers get, like when I had a company with 100 employees and Slack was a new thing, and they started talking on Slack, but then when we tried to bring it all together, it just started costing us a lot of money, but our employees wouldn't operate without it, so that's a good model.
So I thought it was a really well done pitch.
Thank you.
I really like the pitch deck. It's simple and it's very direct on, and it seems like you have a lot of experience with the problem, and that's something that I see is not typical. Like usually founders are very tied to the solution, but not the problem, because the product itself will probably change.
Yes.
As you get feedback. So my only question would be, like, what stage of the product development are you guys in, and what is your approach?
Sure. So we had a little prototype we would test in schools a couple months ago, around the end of the last semester. At this point, we're now working on a full MVP where teachers will be able to take pictures of multiple essays and then be able to batch grade those all together and then send those grades back to Canvas. We have about 75% of that done. Products always take longer to build than you expect, but we have the front end. Now we're connecting that to the back end, and now we need to work out with our API integrations with services like Canvas. That's really what we need for our MVP, and then we're good to go.
And how are we launching?
Yeah, it plays into our. Yeah, Y Combinator always says always be launching. So I mean, technically we launched when we put up our website with a little demo where you can right now check it out. You can put an essay, you can put the rubric for that essay, and then grade it. You can do that right now. What I guess launching means, I guess hopefully we'll be ready by the end of either this month or the next. That probably won't be enough in time for it to really get integrated into a lot of classrooms. So to have our MVP ready to be consistently used in classrooms, I'll say January.
Great presentation. I think it was clean, clear. My question is mainly around the target group that you chose, K to 8. You got have some in kindergarten. I know they're having fun, they're writing, they're practicing. However, you guys are kind of like addressing a more important issue, which is, whether it's them or not to do it. But up until, they're like 10, 12, whatever, they still got parents around and trying to make sure they don't just use, ChatGPT to write their homework. Why are you guys targeting kindergarten to 8 and not going to universities, where the problem is probably more pressing?
Well, I think the problem is pressing in K8 and all the way through 12, but where the problem is not them doing the homework at school, but actually in class. So if we're going to be able to solve the solution of a teacher being able to hover over the classroom, the paper that they do in class, and know that there is no AI assistant there, and then be able to grade it right there and then. So that's where in practice in a classroom, you don't necessarily have to do writing at home. You could do it in class and without technology.
To add to that, the reason our ICP is more, and to be honest, it's more 3rd through 8th and maybe 3rd through 12. The reason that's what we're targeting first is because it's honestly easier for a large language model to consistently grade accurately with it. As you go higher in education level, there's a little more nuance that you're gonna have to grade. And I mean, what an LLM is good at analyzing is just whether or not something's spelt right, whether or not it's a proper intro. We were doing a lot of testing with my brother's essay, my little brother, he's in 3rd grade, and he would start an argumentative essay with, "Hey guys, how's it going?" Like it's a YouTube video, right? And an LLM could immediately notice that and be like, "Hey, that's not how you start an essay according to the rubric," So it's more like a little sandbox for us to play in before we can really
launch.
Yes, exactly.
Launch it up.
So are you guys going to be doing some of your own training of AI models so that you can, because you're talking about assessing the quality of someone's work, right? So are you planning to just use out-of-the-box LLMs, or are you going to use some of your own custom training?
So our MVP, we're just using the API, as most AI MVPs do right now. We're using GPT-4o. Eventually, yes, of course, we do want our own model, but a stopgap to that is using RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, where we have an education expert who specializes in literacy. We have domain knowledge at our fingertips that we could use to make the AI that much better than a competitor of ours who's just using the API. And again, RAG makes that really simple for us without having to generate a new model from scratch, which right now costs millions of dollars. Millions of dollars we don't have.
Yes, one more question. So, as far as like this solution that you guys are putting together, when you say millions of dollars you don't have, I'm just curious if you've like thought about how CCSD is different in almost any district that's out there, where each school is its own fiefdom, and they have their own discretionary budget. Most districts, even a 10-school district, is going to want to set it up where it goes through the district level.
Yep.
Right? How are you going to? What are you thinking about how to address that?
Well, I mean, we'll be able to sell enterprise as well, so we'll be able to sell through the districts. We'll have we've planned a model on how to go district wide. So especially with like a 10 school district or small district, those won't be as challenging as a large district as Clark County. That's why our model is to first be able to get to the teachers and the schools so that we can get to these large districts and urban areas. And then after we've gone through some of these districts, especially here, then we can see if we can tackle some more of the smaller districts. Yeah.
We have a couple questions from Slack, and just a
Great.
reminder that you can scan that QR code or go to startup.vegas/Slack. There's that question.
All right. One question we got is, are you worried about quashing individuality by training students to write/speak like a robot into success?
Yeah, so actually we're doing quite the opposite of that because we're putting the AI in the hands of the teacher and not the students. So that's exactly what we're trying to solve is that, again, that robot analogy of going into the gym. We want the students to be able to do it on their own and having the power and the teachers to be able to give that feedback back to the students. And then, but first the teacher's going to get the information before the student does.
And another question we got is this going to be able to be customizable per school district's approval? And will school districts have the final say as they will need to get clearance to be part of their system?
Customizable per...
Yeah, so I'd love to know whoever asked that question what they mean by customizable. You? Awesome. Hi.
So I'm a former educator myself.
Awesome.
So I taught in New York, which had several hundred different schools.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that you're trying to start out small and then expand. But when you're looking at this as a whole, ultimately, like the gentleman said, the school district is going to approve it because the teachers aren't going to be able to pay for it themselves.
Oh, we're not, yeah.
But then each school district has their own different ways of grading.
Yes. Oh, okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you going to be able to filter all of that information in for each district?
Yeah, that's a great question. So actually we don't have any input on how it's graded or the AI. Actually, so when a teacher, a school, when they're grading the papers, they put in their own standards, their own rubric, and so whatever they want to the AI to look at, that's what it's going to look at. So we're not in that space. We're in the space of you control what you want to be graded, and you control how you want it to be graded too, because what you're putting more importance to and weight into the paper, the AI will be able to do that for you.
So the back end will be user friendly so that anybody can enter those parameters
and that's exactly what we're trying to do with our users first. We want to make it as simple as possible. Where, I mean, we even tested my son, who was a third grader at the time, to see if he can do it. I mean, I know that Gen Alpha might be a little bit more savvy in that, but we're test driving people that aren't tech savvy to make sure that it is as simple as possible for a teacher to be able to use the interface.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much. Good job, my man. Good job, my man.
You can participate by joining the Slack channel and asking questions. So we're getting our next presenter.
Good job, man.
All mic'd up and ready to go. All right, next up is a company that built the first contextual engagement platform, being at the forefront of all interactions. You got it. Negotiate. Give it up, give it up, give it up.
How's it going, guys? Wait for, I need that. Thank you. Oh, can you go back? Thank you. All right. Alrighty. Hello, everybody. My name is Tony B. I'm here to actually present to you our newest product. Our company is actually called Replicate, but we wanted to showcase what we believe is one of the most groundbreaking AI technologies. But we did coin AI for ourselves. We don't think that it's actually artificial or intelligent. But with our help, we have an adaptive, intelligent decision engine. So your own personal aid. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do something that is like maybe a cardinal sin. I'm going to do a live demonstration at the same time as my presentation. Hey, Humphrey, I'm here at the Startup Vegas event. I'm a little nervous. Can you just give me like a good motivational quote or something really quick? Humphrey, did you hear me?
You've got this. Just remember, every great achievement was once considered impossible.
Amen, brother. No, thank you for that. So can you just actually wait on standby as I do this presentation, and then when I call your name, just jump in? How does that sound, Humphrey? How does that sound, Humphrey?
That sounds perfect. Just let me know when you need me.
Perfect. That's enough. Thank you. So as you can see, definitely not perfect, right? But I'm doing the cardinal sin of a live demonstration, as you guys can see. So, but one of the cool things I did want to showcase is if I ask questions right now, like what's 1 + 1? He's not answering, because at least he can identify when I'm asking him a command. So I didn't pre-program this. I didn't say, oh, let me kind of do this. This is all just out of the box, right? So my voice is programming this as we're speaking. So what we believe is really the problem is over 80% of business communication takes place audibly, right? So though we're living in a technology age where we have a lot of social media, there's still going to be many cases where businesses are actually losing opportunities because we have over 400 million phone calls per day that are going to businesses, where 62% of those are being unanswered, right? And so then that obviously leads into a bigger problem where I have a lot of clients come to us is not just being able to answer that, but then being able to have reliable customer service, right? 95% of people will actually at least tell one person about a bad experience, where over half of those people will tell over 5 people, right? So we understand that these are problems that have massive issues that, you know, I believe technology today should be used how we should be using it. It should be our aid. It shouldn't be something that I'm enslaved to, right? The moment that I never pick my phone up and this can take all my phone calls and do all my personal tasks, like that's the world we live in, right? And then again, this is not some open AI voice technology. This is something that we custom built, right? So, you know, I think that the value of us being able to be with a research team out of Cambridge, right, where they have a technology that has already over 50 languages. You know, we have live monitoring, transcription services available. But now, as you can see, where I can now install that into a fully autonomous voice, right, that can do what I ask it to do. So, you know, that's just the portion of kind of like what we see where we're going against the crosshairs of like OpenAI and Google and, you know, some of the big boys, right? So very lofty goals that you can see. But we truly believe in the democratization of the power. So I don't believe that everything should go to the OpenAIs or the Googles of the world, right? So our AI was actually going to be unbiasedly trained through blockchain technology, right? So though what you're hearing now, I'll be honest with you, is on OpenLlama's open source, right? But, you know, our technology will have our own AI, right? So where we're not having to be reliant on some of these massive giants. And that's what with the technology we want to bring into the world, that everybody can have access to, not just some of the big giants, as well as having access to, you know, 360 degrees of your data, memorization, understanding the context of what we're sharing, right? Because truly that's what we're pushing, is taking every interaction, understanding the context, the nuance, the language, the situation, and then being able to turn that into the best result possible for the business, right? And then obviously being secure, compliant, having the right data, and sorry guys about that. Being secure and compliant, having data that being at the forefront of what we see. Humphrey, can you actually just give me a quick synapse of some of the things I said, and maybe just give me a review on that and some key points?
Sure. You highlighted how over 80% of business communication is auditory and that many phone calls go unanswered. You stressed the importance of reliable customer service, noting that bad experiences spread quickly. You mentioned your technology aims to democratize access to AI, custom built and capable of understanding context in conversations. Lastly, you emphasized the need for secure and compliant data handling. Is that about right?
Yeah, what would you say is a good SWOT analysis for that, Humphrey?
For a SWOT analysis, strengths could be your unique technology and focus on customer service. Weaknesses might include reliance on voice recognition accuracy. Opportunities could involve a growing demand for AI in business communication. Threats might be competition from big players like OpenAI and Google. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Thank you. That's enough for now. So as you can see, some of the massive market opportunity, right? We all hear the multi-trillion-dollar industries that, whether it be AI, data, compliance. Realistically, I look at this technology being replacing people's cell phone bills. I think the difference between us and OpenAI is I still talk to so many people today, and they're like, I'm scared of AI. I don't use it. I don't even go anywhere near it. And what we have is something that is to take that away from the fear, right? Based where, it's your reliant aid. So these are just some of our roadmap for, what we're finalizing. One of the big things is also phase 2, taking this technology into marginalized areas. So we have partners in Southeast Asia, South America, and we want to take this technology into the unreached communities that don't have access to that. That's why these billion-dollar companies are getting funded. It's not just the impact, or it's not just the technology, it's the impact that they're creating, which is at the forefront of what we're pushing. So you can see, I'll jump through just our initial revenue stream, kind of understanding what our lifetime value is. These are just pre-sale numbers, right? Our technology has yet to be in full production yet, but with just, kind of traction of this next year where we're seeing it being in full production, where we're gonna be with already a lot of pre-sales and people kind of begging us to take this out of our hands, right? But we're a bit of perfectionists before we finalize that. So you can see our accomplished leadership team. So our ask is $2 million right now for 15% share. We've already received $300K in our pre-seed. We've got about $100K in business credit lines. We have $3 million in our key man protection for our key founders. And this is just how we want to allocate our capital. So then that's it. So Humphrey, do you mind just telling everybody a quick joke on why they should invest into our conversational AI?
Sure. Why did the investor bring a ladder to the meeting? Because they heard the conversational AI was going to take their profits to new heights.
Can you do that in Spanish? Actually, I didn't like that. Humphrey, can you do it in Spanish? I didn't like that joke.
I'm sorry, I can't do that in Spanish. Would you like a different joke in English instead?
No worries. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So I didn't catch all the background of the team.
Yeah, I'll go back.
Real quick.
So I'm the co-founder and president. My other two partners are in the DC area. Our lead engineer is a quantitative analysis, in the stock market. So data is big for us. And then our main other co-founder, he worked for 3-letter companies. So security and compliance is absolute to us. And then we actually have our investor back there for us that helped us for the initial seed round, pre-seed rounds.
And you're raising the seed round right now, so you raised the pre-seed, just so I'm clear. The pre-seed was $300K, the seed round is $2 million, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then the $2 million for 15%, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then final question before I hand it off, because I don't want to keep talking about that. Can you fill me in on how exactly you're different from all the other conversational AIs that, like the ones that do the summaries, AI, how they do the conversation, the phone calls and the sales, and all these other ones like Otter AI will summarize any meeting, like break down exactly how you're different.
Yeah, so thank you for that. I didn't get into kind of the specifics, but one of the cool things about our technology is speaker diarization. So for instance, when he was hearing himself, one of the big issues I ran into, when the AI heard itself talk, it always thought it was a person talking to it. So our AI is pretty smart into knowing voices, right? So whenever multiple people are in a conversation, if you have 5 or 6 people, I can introduce myself the first time and say, hey, this is Tony. And then the AI will remember, okay, this voice fluctuation is Tony. I don't need to say I'm Tony every single time. And so this is truly almost like a person, right? You would remember, okay, I didn't obviously showcase that because if we had multiple people in the conversation, I could, and I can show you guys a demonstration if you want. But, that's, I'd say, where we're at, plus languages, because our technology comes from Cambridge research team out of the university, there's nobody that has more accurate data than us. We're actually more accurate than Google, more accurate than all of those people when it comes to transcriptions or translation services because we're peer reviewed as well, right? So there's a difference of kind of where our technology comes out of the box, right, as well as being democratized. This is not an OpenAI wrapper. This is built on Llama. This is our own custom model. And then we're obviously going to continue to go away from Llama to where, we're utilizing blockchain technology to where, everybody can kind of have equal access to the AI. So we want to build custom models for everybody to where it's not everyone being reliant on the giants. So hopefully that answers your question.
Great presentation, Tony, and I think that this time it paid off. Internet connection was good, so you can...
A few errors, but I'll be honest with you guys, I practiced before. He did actually do a Spanish joke, so I'm very upset he didn't do that. So I got to figure that out.
That was a very good job, so kudos for that. I think that at the end of the day, as we can see with OpenAI and how they managed to kind of take over the market, it's because they were actually able to build something simple that people can use.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking a lot about the technology and how you guys want to get there, but I think this is just an advice and I have a question. I think it would make sense to actually just be able to, on top of the demo, just have some screens there or just come up with some use cases, because that's the easiest way in which you can get something to work. Because at the end of the day, nobody pays you to be smart. They pay you to give them some value and fix some problems,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and then you mentioned blockchain a couple of times. I built anything from trading platforms to raising money for some of our own blockchain products where we build technology. So I'm very familiar with the industry. What exactly do you because you said it twice. Are you thinking about raising money using blockchain? Or are you thinking about what specifically? Because it's a buzzword, but I want to make sure you...
Yes, sir. So that's not our IP, right? We're partnering with an exclusive access early to a partner that just raised $2 million. And so their business model is, what I'm preaching on is democratizing the AI model so that you can train your own model using the blockchain tech, right? So that we can go into these underserved communities. And one is obviously helping with universal basic income because it's incentivizing idle use. So if people are not using it, we're using their unused compute power to actually run these models and train. And so we're actually unplugging people from the matrix, which is one of the rare things. And then also at that same time is, being able to bring this into, because like the areas we go into, like in Southeast Asia, they don't have power. So I have to be able to, how do I get somebody that, doesn't have any power to still utilize this technology? And so that's where we've gone to some partners with and kind of finalizing that partnership for where the blockchain technology will specifically come into place.
So the relationship with Cambridge, will you owe them? Do they get paid for letting you use their stuff?
Yeah. So right now we do. We're actually, what I just showed you is the first demonstration. Nobody in the world has access to this except for the Cambridge team. Like honestly, so I mean that IP alone, that we as a for-profit organization are the only people that have been given access to this, is enough, I think, to showcase. But your question again for the...
So you have a moat with the IP?
Yeah. Well, we do have to pay them. We do have a partnership where it's a mutual agreement, right? So we aren't fully autonomous on that angle, right? So we do have like an exclusive partnership with them to where like we have the right to be able to bring this into foreign markets and sell this and exclusively as our own IP, right? But then also partner with them and give them like, usage fees or whatever costs. And that's more for like the language and the transcriptions than it is the actual AI model itself, if that makes sense.
So if I just say I want to buy your company, when I have to pay them?
No, yes, okay. Us.
And then as it's listening, how's the drain on the phone?
Not that bad, honestly. So, we're on 3.1 right now. So our team having 3.2 just came out for Llama. And so that's like more mobile friendly, I guess you can say. But for now, I mean, it just runs on a website right now. I just go to the website and then I just kind of run it through my browser. And then I didn't show, like, we can do like VoIP systems as well. So like I said, phone calls, and then being able to kind of just be an IVR for people.
Sweet, thank you.
So I thought the presentation was very interesting. I thought you're obviously a very interesting person too. And I think like grabbing and holding people's attention is actually really hard. So congrats for that.
Thank you.
The technology is interesting. I love the way that you did it. It was playful and fun. I think the disconnect for me is more because I think like where you talked about the business model and your initial slide about the problems was very B2B. But and I understand that this is a general audience, right? So it's easier to make it a playful technology, and like the way that you presented was great. If I was a prospective investor, I would, and I think a lot of people in the business corporate world are actually wondering, how do I implement this on my team? How does this augment what we do and save time, and so that I can sell this to, up the chain, and then make that $60,000, whatever it is, a year deal with your company.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, your question essentially is like how more of like just the end use case for the business.
On the B2B.
Yeah, and so yeah, to your point, that's kind of our main focus right now is B2B. I mean, I do see this as an overarching going into the consumers eventually, but for now, because of just the financial aspects, and a lot of our relationships, I personally don't want to, even though it's fun to say I want to compete against OpenAI, I really don't. I'd rather be acquired by somebody that has the manpower, the resources in the team, and likes what we have, and we can be a part of the team that takes over and does that, right? But, for us, I mean, that's just, I think that's kind of where we want to stay is B2B, and then partner, get it acquired so that we can take over Google and AT&T's market share and those guys,
All right. We have time for a really quick question from the audience, and then we'll need to move on.
Who are your main customers, and what is your customer acquisition process?
So our main customers are actually going to be either agency owners right now, that's our main market is other agencies that they have the niche, whether they work with, HVAC people, other services, realtors. We're going into, organizations or sales teams as well. So maybe Keller Williams, I'm partnered with, Pack Realty, which is like a couple hundred agents. So, we're going into these areas where they're either larger organizations or have a plethora of clients that can kind of really more so utilize this technology for mass distribution. So thank you guys.
All right. 2 down, 1 to go. So next on stage is a company leveraging the power of AI to make humanity free again. One industry at a time, starting with the real estate. What up?
Yeah. All right. Sorry guys, no demo. So I'll try my best without a demo. All right. So my name is Akshay. I'm a founder of HostEasy, and I've been developing AI and autopilot systems for robots for about a decade now. While I was doing that, I wanted some financial freedom. So I turned up an Airbnb. Turns out, managing an Airbnb is anything but passive. I had 2.5 different jobs, and I'm like, how do I get out of this? So I went on a quest to make my Airbnb completely passive. Well, I did achieve it, but it looked something like this. I had to use 14 different applications, manage 3 virtual assistants across multiple time zones, and still was completely ingrained in day-to-day operations. I was spending about $2,000 a month and 28 hours a month to do that, and my only other option was to give it to a property management company who was taking up to 30% in my revenue. We all know if the margins were that good, everyone would do it, right? So I researched a bit, and turns out 60% of the short-term rental property owners have another full-time job and are going through the same trouble as I did. So we developed HostEasy, a one and only AI-powered self-managing property management platform which completely takes over all property management with a click of a button. And the difference is that it doesn't just consolidate all of these apps into one, but it comes with an AI co-host that does the work for you, and you get to monitor that on our platform. That's the difference. Well, when we looked at our competitor landscape, we found that all of our competitors were really focused on solving one key workflow at a time. We're trying to streamline that, where we try to take a step back and we talked to 108 property owners and managers to find what the real problem was. And what we found that the true bottleneck to scale their business is not streamlining one workflow, but the fact that they have to be completely integrated in the operations end to end. So that's where our vision comes in. We're not like any other SaaS startup. We're building a fast startup, freedom as a service. The idea is to leverage the power of AI to actually give our users what they truly desire. That is true freedom from end-to-end operations. That's what we're going for. How do we do that? We're actually built a proprietary AI co-host that comes on the platform, which is a very high critical reasoning, logical reasoning and critical thinking metric, and it's sitting in the epicenter of all operations. So the AI takes care of all the guest communication, as well as controlling the property management. Not just that, but also coordinating with cleaners to actually streamline all the workflow end to end. In just 9 weeks and 3 days today, we came second at Techstars. We have racked up a wait list of 178 properties without doing any marketing, I must add. And we have raised an angel round. We've already onboarded 15 properties, actually 1 hour before. Now we have 20 on our MVP, and we are growing fast. Well, although our entire market comprises of 12 million vacation rentals, we're really focusing on only 2.69 million vacation rentals, which are the vacation rentals which are owned by hosts who have anywhere from 3 to 20 properties. They feel the most pain when they're trying to scale, and right now we're only focusing in North America. Our business model is simple. We rack up to $400 per month per listing from 3 different venues, giving us a SOM of $12.48 billion ARR. And right now we're raising a pre-seed of $1.5 million to reach our target of getting 3 million ARR by Q2 of next year and 12 million by Q4 of next year. And we're doing that by having a very specific go-to-market strategy for each growth stage. Where in the first growth stage, we're actually focusing on doing credibility branding, going to real estate events, as well as going on podcasts, which are very real estate centric. Turns out the real estate industry is still very archaic, and they love to network in networking events. So that's where we're going to go for. After that, once we have racked up this relationship, we're going to go all board on referral model, which is very, very successful in real estate. And our goal is by the end of next year, we're trying to get into the motel space of the entire US. We're already in conversations with some of the motel companies who are super excited about something like this, because that's what their goal is, not being available at all while racking up passive income. Well, the use of funds will be predominantly on payroll and then some in marketing. And the funds we're going to raise is going to give us a runway of about 8 quarters, which is about 2 years. That's what we're looking for. Well, we have a team who has cumulatively got $2 billion worth of real estate network in LA and SoCal, as well as tech and marketing exec who have been doing marketing campaigns for companies like Airbnb for more than 10 years, as well as operations for multiple short-term rentals all at once in multiple continents. I hope I was able to give you an insight into Airbnb and HostEasy, and able to kick off a campaign of leading this new era of startups. Fast startups, not SaaS startups. Let's do it. Thank you.
So, I like the presentation. I'm actually very familiar with the space too. We've seen 5 or 6 in this space.
Oh.
Not exactly the same layout, so it's interesting. Your pricing model is interesting. Do you have a guess on CAC? I know you haven't done any advertising yet, because you said that.
Yes.
But,
yes.
like, you've got a wait list, you've got people who want the product, right? What do you estimate right now is the cost to acquire that customer?
Absolutely. So on CAC, actually, I have better than a guess, because we did go to one of the short-term rental summit when the company didn't even exist. And we kindly insinuated, I'm like, what if something like this existed? What would you think? And by that, we got like this wait list and these people. So as per that, right now, that event costed us about 2 people, 2,800, including flights and everything. And it was about, I would say, 20-ish, 25-ish dollar is what I would say. But right now, what we are doing is that our first phase, like I said, we're actually contacting with the influencers. And the thing we found was this on YouTube, they've got very high engagement because all of these Airbnb owners, they're trying to reinvent the wheel. They don't know how to do it. So they are asking the questions to the influencers, so they become a big deal. Although they've got 300K subscribers, they're actually have a very high engagement, more than like 30%, which is unheard of. And as per the conversations with them, we're making like a referral model, which is like about 5 to 10% for each subscription we get from them, and that's what it's going to look like. So if our subscription right now is $100 per month, so it's going to be about like $10-ish. That's how we're looking for it.
Interesting. And then with like the go-to-market, this 1.5, you have a very small amount that you're going to put towards marketing on that.
Yes. And how we're able to do that is because rather than actually focusing on doing ad spend ourselves, we're building this team of influencers. For them, it's like a very new topic which gives them virality. And rather than we actually giving them the money, we're giving them the percentage of the subscription they close. And that's how we're trying to like keep the marketing costs down. And also one more thing I want to notice here, I want to talk about is that if you look at it, for me to get 300K ARR, I just need 250 listings. That does not mean 250 users. That just means anywhere from 12 to 84 users, because our users that we're targeting are the people who have got 3 to 20 properties. So we are not looking for that huge of a user number, while we can still amplify our ARR a lot. And the other thing I want to sorry.
Well, last question. I'm going to pass on. But so I love that you're going after the smaller, 3 to 8 houses, whatever the numbers were.
Yes.
You mentioned agencies have 20%, right? Like the management 20 to 30%.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What about channel sales? Going to those?
We are absolutely.
Make sure you're not just like,
No, we want to make them our friends, not our enemies. And we're like, hey, we're going to reduce. Actually, we are reducing our OPEX by right now 70%, and we call it OPF, which is operational effort, by about like 84%, as per the one team we've worked with.
Great presentation, thank you. Congrats on riding the wave. It's been intense for the last 10 weeks, right?
Oh my God, but I love it.
What's your next stop?
My next stop, it's very weird. Like for me, it's like I'm very optimistic when it comes to long term, and short term very pessimistic. So I take one ball at a time, and right now my true focus is on getting my product out, which we're trying to do next month, which can scale to like 100 properties, 250 properties, and we are going for 250 properties ideally by the end of this year. That's what we're looking for. I know here it should be Q1 of 2025, but that's what we're going for, and then see where we get.
I mean, I can see that on short term you're also very optimistic, right? For the next 12 months, I think it is optimistic looking at the way that your budget is split. And also, probably I would go into more detail when you talk about payroll, because it's like, oh, we're going to build, we're going to pay our devs, actually, because that's what you need, right?
And also, that actually also includes we're going for 2 sales and 2 BD, because we found that direct outreach has a very high conversion rate.
Yeah, and I think about working with YouTube content creators, they have great numbers, but their loyalty is zero. So unless you get them to sign exclusive partnerships, which you don't have enough money to do that at the moment, they will work with you and promote you as until somebody pays them more to do that. So I think it's a good thing to start.
Yes.
But being able to build your own people that can become those influencers, it's a good thing.
Thank you for that. I really that makes sense. Yeah.
I think it's a great thing, and it was more like input rather than a question. So
no, absolutely. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna double click on the influencer things. I co-founded a company called Influential.
Okay.
Became the biggest influencer marketing company in the world.
Wow. Are you up for collaboration?
I don't know the real estate niche. for the short-term rental niche. But in the years that I worked on it, we found that creators wanted money up front. They didn't want to build your brand for you for long-term upside. Now the real estate niche might be very different, but I would just be kind of cautious if that's the basket that you're putting your eggs in. I like Vlad's idea of possibly creating your own, becoming your own content company.
Yeah.
Which is I've seen that work in a lot of different niches. Question, so I'm a customer, I rent an Airbnb, I have a question, I'm asking through Airbnb, or does it happen through like
Same through Airbnb. You don't change anything, but you get a response from an AI co-host who looks like a human. Right now, it would be Akshay literally, because we are bootstrapping it, and it would just respond.
So,
And actually, it started with my own property, where it turns out I tuned it to talk like me, but we were responsive. And once people were done with reservation, going back to their place, they would still message like, "Hey, I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much for the great service." So that was told us, okay, it was very important to make it humane and very. So that's why the model is right now, so that it learns from all the people, all the guests it interacts with, for crisis management, and learns from you how you sound or you want to sound.
I understand that. And if there was a way through the, like maybe getting them into SMS to start getting repeat customers off the booking platforms, you could increase the bottom line.
Yep, exactly.
So then you're saying it's $400 a month, but we're cutting your fees through Airbnb by that. And
Absolutely. So when I mentioned like the reason why I mentioned that we're gonna do like this motel chain here is because Q3 is the time when we're planning to give every of our listings like a own website, so they can cut off that 16-18% that they actually do, and they can do it via that. While also one more thing in our product regarding to that, which I think would be a real moat, which I'm super excited about, is the concierge service. So what is happening is that imagine like you, can I know your name?
Dan.
Sorry?
Dan.
So Dan, you come to my Airbnb in Las Vegas, you stay here. You have a conversation, you're like, "Hey, Akshay, do you have like anything to eat in the house?" I'm like, "No, but I can suggest you, like, I like Mexican food." So I remember that. And then you're like, "Would you like some drink option?" Like, "Yeah, I love a nice glass of wine." And then based on your reviews and this conversation, Alfred is the AI who remembers Dan's preferences. Now, when you go tomorrow to Tulum in another Airbnb who's using Host Easy, Alfred already tells the owner, "Dan's coming and he loves some Mexican food and wine. Should I order some or should we do something about it?" So you get like a very concierge-like experience all over. And this, no other company can actually build or buy. This becomes like one of the key modes. So we're moving towards like this concierge service. So that's where the add-on comes in.
That's great. Thank you.
Of course.
Great presentation. I think that you have real presence. So I think one of the challenges with most startups is connecting on a personal level, and you kind of have that as the founder. So I think that make your personal brand just as much as the company. That will draw people in. I think with Dollar Shave Club, they did that. They used comedy, kind of like content creation. Create your own content. I mean, I think that could go a long way for the brand. I don't really understand the pricing, so that's something that maybe I missed.
Yes, absolutely. We can go into this. So what we found was that so usually when you do a higher pricing per listing, what happens is that no one's going to pay for it. We found that you never load one entity. The more entity you have, so no one gets a higher load, and we can still rack up the same thing. That's why it's an infrastructure or platform play, right? Where we are bringing all the vendors. So our three venues of our cost or like our revenue. First are the hosts. So the hosts pay $100 per month per listing. For this, they get automated all the operations that we're talking about. Three things. The other thing is that once we have the concierge service that I just explained, then they can have an add-on for $50. So they can provide their guests the concierge experience with dynamic itineraries and stuff like that. And also like what we can do, like an extra added service. That's $150 per month per listing. Now what we found was we talked to vendors, including my vendors, and they're like, "Hey," depending on how big the cleaning company is, they spend anywhere from $500 to $10,000 per week to do Facebook ad spend, find the clients, and then have a marketing company to close them, and they're like, hey, we're a cleaning company for a reason. We don't want to do all of that, and we don't know how to do that. So what we say is that we partner with them, and right now we've already partnered with the biggest cleaning company called Cleanster, and also direct partnerships in each areas where they don't exist. We've got about 14 partnerships at the moment, and we're talking to 20 more. And then what we do is that we're like, hey, just use our platform. We give you direct your golden users, which are recurring users, and we take 10% commission. For this cost, AI is the one who talks to them in their own language, because usually they're Spanish, right? And so it becomes both things. That's how, like, on average, there are 15 reservations per month. So it comes to about $150 per month that way. And the other thing is that while we are providing these guests like these recommendations, because they are in Vegas, they want to see something. So we are also partnering like affiliate marketing partnerships with the local restaurants. And whenever we give them, based on the code, our guests get the best price or a best experience or a best seat, whatever it is. While the guest who could never get our host, because using Host Easy, they get this great deal. And we get affiliate marketing in the middle, which we're expecting about $50 a month or $100 a month based on that. So cumulatively, we make $400 per month per listing without actually overloading any of the entities, making a win-win situation for everyone, and making the pricing model such that like we can actually go to this high ARR in this exponential way without getting that many users all at once.
Okay, we have time for one quick question from the audience, and then we'll wrap things up.
In the long term, would you provide services to workers from companies who travel for work?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?
In the long term, would you provide services to workers from companies who travel for work?
I don't think I understand it. For workers who, so the just to explain it, the idea is that even the workers who travel for work, you can still use Airbnb or VRBO. Our customer is the owner of the Airbnb listing. So our end user is not the guest, but the owner. And the idea is that you as a guest will get a great experience and great service because our AI does not sleep, always learns, and knows what you like. So if that answers the question.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
I want to thank all of the presenters and all of our panelists for the great questions. And I know there were questions that were asked in Slack that we did not have time to get to. So I encourage our presenters to go ahead and check out the Slack channel and maybe answer those questions in Slack. There's plenty of food and drink left, I think. So if you want to grab some stuff, talk amongst yourselves. I'm so happy that you decided to spend your Friday night with us on the 3rd anniversary of LevelUp, and hope to see you at the next one on November 19th. Thank you.
Yes, cool.